I don't want to sound negative, but to your point, they might see the most amount of money through these NIL deals than they might ever see again.
Chris, you're 100% right. And the other thing that I have picked up on that it does, though, so we grew up on this whole hungry thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that motivated us were because we were hungry. I had two brothers. We had one bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like we had, everybody had their own room. But the NIL thing, I think, is altering that. Yeah, Chris, I think God has been good to us, man. And just looking back, you know, in this community where we're shooting, like our old church is right around the corner, and just having them, you know, around the God and the Word, and giving them an example of me and my wife, and, you know, stability, and just instilling discipline into them. But I really just think it's just a favor of God, man, just covering us. And we had some challenges in our life, but overall, man, we're blessed. So Mike goes to a King's workout, turns that workout into a 9-year playing career, and he's been coaching in the NBA for probably another 13 or 14 years, and he's on his way to win a championship tonight. I talked to my wife about retirement, and she laughs.
She laughs.
Oh, she laughs. She says, she literally tells me, "You've never had a job, bro. What are you retiring from?"
That's
literally. She tells me that you go to the gym for 2 hours. Like, what are you retiring from?
All right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have an incredible guest here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
All right. Welcome back. Episode 52. And we get a second round of, I'm so happy to get a second round because you blessed us with our collaboration at Sacramento State just a few weeks ago. Maybe it was about a month ago now, but you are absolutely game-changing of what the Sacramento area is. You just have your hands on everything. The great Guss Armstead. Welcome to the lounge, man.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, again, appreciate you coming in that collaboration. Shout out to Joseph for putting that together. We got to talk some Sacramento State basketball. That was fun. But I'm not going to lie, I did, for the first time, get a little bad feedback after our episode, man. You know what the gripe was?
What was it?
The gripe was it wasn't long enough, man. It wasn't long enough. I had multiple people within the first week of that coming out was like, man, I was listening. I usually listen when I'm on the way here or on the way there, and it was too short. So people wanted more Guss, man. People wanted more Guss.
Give the people what they want.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that was fun. And yes, the Sacramento talks that we had, that was great. But one of the things about being in the Legacy Lounge, man, we get to dive into much more than what people see on the outside, the accomplishments and things like that. You just lead a phenomenal lifestyle on a day-to-day when it comes to affecting people, how great of a father you are, you know, being there and seeing everything over it. So we get to chat a little bit more about your story this time and have it and everything like that. Now, we touched on it just a little bit, but, you know, one of the things about that Chris was talking about is how you got into training people and became as influential as you are. Can you back everybody up to where we can start there and give a little bit of the groundwork after Sacramento State and playing and what shifted your life towards this direction?
Yeah, when I was at Sac State, I played 85, 86, 86, 87. The next year I was a grad assistant. Coach asked me to be a grad assistant. The following year I was an assistant coach. And basically I was always the guy that was opening up the gym for everybody. So I was still playing, and the Kings guys were needing places to play pickup ball. So Kenny Smith and Ed Pinckney and all these guys that I knew, they were just all coming up to Sac State playing pickup ball.
Yeah.
So a couple of the guys just kind of asked me like, "Hey man, can you work me out?" And I had a foundation of working out because I was kind of like a self-made player, doing my own drills with a buddy, and God just set me up. And I literally was like, okay. So I started training guys, and then more guys started coming and finding out about, the atmosphere of what was going on with so many, high level guys in the gym that brought, the best players in the area. So it just became like a whole, it became like a whole thing, a place to go to get better, to develop. And it was a opportunity for those guys to play against some quality players too, so they can stay in shape during the off season. And we were all playing in the Pro-Am together.
Yeah.
So there was like this whole, connecting thing that was going on. So that's pretty much how it started.
That's crazy. Incredible.
So obviously you already graduated from Sac State. You're now, so your paying job is an assistant coach at Sac State.
Low paying job.
I was about to say that when he said it that way, I was like, I don't think that was for the money,
You could call
right?
it that.
So then did it slowly evolve into this, and and then at what point did the chapter close with you no longer coaching?
Yeah, well, the Sac State thing, I was never like an X and O guy. I was more of a player development.
Got it.
Connect with the guys type of thing. And I deep inside I knew that I wasn't going to go that route, because the coaching thing, you got to bounce around and go here and go there, go wherever the guy that you're connected with, and you could be multiple places for multiple years. So I didn't really want to do that. So one of the guys that I played with at Sac State had ended up going to Kansas State, and he was a really good player. So when he was done there, he kind of asked me to start helping him navigate how do you go pro, like what's the steps that I take to do that. And I think this guy's name was Tony Massive. I think Tony was the one guy that kind of sparked that consulting, connecting with players, with agents, and all of that. So that's pretty much how that started.
Got
was
it.
with a guy named Tony Massive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So is it a little bit of both, where you're player development and you're an agent as well?
Well, I consult with agents, so I cultivate, find talent, help those guys get better. I have a gym full of, guys at all different levels, super good high school guys, college guys, professional guys, veteran guys that have been in it, like Marcus Graves and McKinney and all these guys that you guys know. They've been at it, and they've been part of the whole system for a while. So, yeah, that just leads to other opportunities within the basketball space, I think. So,
Yep.
yeah, and I've been able to just help guys, because a lot of guys, when they're looking to go pro, there's like no blueprint for that, especially for the kind of guys that I deal with that are kind of underdog type guys. So they need somebody to help them navigate through that. Like, how do I do that? How do I find an agent? How do I find an agent that knows how to help a guy at my level? So then there's a lot of that kind of stuff that I end up doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was actually just having this conversation with somebody over this past weekend. I think it struck a chord with me young when I was playing and everything like that. One of my biggest pet peeves and something that just irks me the most, and it's led into how I am as a father and everything like that, is seeing somebody with talent and not utilizing it, not reaching their potential and everything like that. You get to not only consult and talk about the mindset of it, but you get to find ways to pull that out of people and have them reach. Shoot, your track record is getting people above and beyond what they thought they could ever be and everything like that. That has to be a fulfilling part of the process, is you getting the most out of some talent, or in reaching above what they think their talent level is. Do you always know when somebody walks through the door what they could be? Do you see it for a while and see how their mindset is? What goes through your brain when you see these different forms of talent that are walking through the door?
I think it's different, because some guys are just God-given talented, and it's evident, and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But then there's other guys that it's going to be more of a journey, more of a process. So for me, I think I would say that I'm able to probably see something in a guy that they don't see. And I think that's probably one of the blessings that I've had in helping guys is casting down the road, and then getting them to understand that it is going to be a process, because it's not oatmeal. It's not pour the water in it and it's good. It's not like that. It may take 2. It may take 3. It may take 4. It takes some time and some patience. So I think that's probably the most rewarding part of what I do.
Mm.
You know, guys, like I have a kid named Mark Ogden, and when I got him, he was making like $1,100 in like Czechoslovakia or somewhere.
Yeah.
But I did see something in him, but he stuck to the plan as far as his development and working on his game. And I mean, he's playing in Italy for over $200,000 a year.
Oh my word!
So
Italy
yeah,
is a great league.
it's those type of stories that I think that continue to motivate me to help guys understand that if they, you know, you reap what you sow. It's an old biblical principle. If you pour into it and you're consistent with it, then there's going to be some processes that are going to help you grow in that space. And that's one thing that I'm really proud of, man. That there's been guys like that has really been cool to watch them grow and play at the highest levels, which has been, you know, it's kind of surreal when you're looking and you're thinking, you know, like with Gabe, me and Gabe met when he was in high school. So to see Gabe, you know, on the stage that he's playing now.
I know, man.
But then I look back to the days when he was in Stockton and there was 400 people in the gym.
Yeah.
And it was just part of the process, right?
Crazy.
And I think I appreciate Gabe because he embraced that. Like, hey, man, this is where I am now, but there's something else for me, and let's just keep grinding.
Wow.
So kind of let's peel that back because I'm so intrigued by just the overall process. And one of the things I think of when you're mentioning, you know, reap what you sow is I feel like the generation we're in now, it seems like it's harder and harder to find people that can lock onto that and believe it, because I feel like people want instant gratification. They're not patient, and they just kind of like give up. They give up too soon. But going on the Gabe stuff, that's a great example. So when you said you meet him in high school, so like he was in high school in Stockton?
St. Mary's High School in Stockton. Yes.
So what were you doing out in Stockton?
Well, Gabe, my story with Gabe is that Bob Williams, who's the head coach at UCSB for almost 20 years, won a championship at UC Davis. So me and Bob have had connections with players for years. And me and Bob are friends. So when Gabe committed to Santa Barbara, Bob told Gabe, hey, man, go connect with Guss. Because James Nunnally from Western Ranch played for Bob, and he's one of my guys. Orlando Johnson. There was Mike Bryson, Christian Terrell. So there was all of these guys that ended up, you know, being from Santa Barbara. So, yeah, so me and Gabe connected, and I started training Gabe, you know, right after his senior year, and we started, you know, putting some goals together, and Gabe's a very goal-oriented guy, and pretty much every marker he hit.
So when you after a senior year in high school?
Yes, high school.
Okay, so was that kind of like you were basically prepping him for college?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in my gym, you know, Gabe's getting ready to be an incoming freshman at Santa Barbara, but there's guys in the gym that are already there.
Oh, yeah.
And even at higher levels, you know, there was guys, I don't know if Matt was there. Matt was probably not still around then, but there's a lot of guys at a high level that are in the gym. So Gabe just got to learn from those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just kind of iron sharpens iron, right?
That's wild.
That's kind of how this thing works, man. It really does.
And
the culture of it, because, you know, the culture in the gym is, you know, we don't tolerate a lot of BS, and, you know, we're on time, and, you know, guys are professional. They're trying to, they are making money doing this. It's not just pickup ball. So there's a whole different vibe, you know, in the gym. And I think that's one of the reasons that there's an acceleration of a lot of guys' development because of the structure of it. Yeah.
What an atmosphere, man. Like, you know, people have these grand ideas of where they want to get to, but they don't see the grind behind the scenes of what it takes to get there. Then you know, even when you're saying it, it's still a little bit different when you're around a bunch of pros of where you're trying to get. You see how much they pay attention to these little intricate things. It's eye-opening, man. I guarantee he thought he worked hard before he got to you, and then it was a different story once he got there, and he was all for it, right? I
think I say this happens with a lot of players. I'll say this a lot. Comparison kills. And like to your point, Chris, the social media thing, you can be whatever you want to be. but they're always comparing themselves to others.
For sure.
Right. And Chris's journey and my journey are different.
Yeah.
So we have to embrace our own journey.
Yeah.
And attack it. If you want to get, to greener pastures. So I just think sometimes the new players, there is the instant gratification. I want it now. I don't want to wait, for something that is going to be super sustainable where I can be there for years. I want the perception that I'm successful now. So you're posting that, you're this successful person. And, people within the industry know, hey, this dude's only making X amount of dollars, but it looks good on the gram.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of, those are the times that we live in. I would say that. Yeah.
One of the things, as you're saying this, it makes me think, the fork in the road for so many people who have been in and around basketball is this the yes or no that happens after somebody says the statement, "Go see Gus." I think that needs to be the shirt, man. Go see Gus is what changes trajectories of careers, man. I think we gotta get some Go see Gus shirts out. I
love it. So of all of the players that are working with you, coming to your gym, is it a mixed bag of kind of like Gabe, hey, go see Gus, or are there just players that have found their way to reach out directly to you? Yeah. Is it just a mixed bag of guys?
I think that's a good way to say it, Chris. I think, a lot of guys, because I was the only guy doing it, so by default, I have the most time in it, right? Now, a lot of the people that I trained, the Danielle Viglions and the Nate Garts and the Jared Waters and all of these trainers, Rashid Shine, that are amazing trainers.
Yeah.
A lot of them I train with. So, but, early in my career, it was like the only spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? So there's a history in that, and a lot of people understand, if you need a guy to really, or a girl to really get evaluated, have them to go see Gus. Damn. And I'll give them an honest evaluation of where they are. And if it fits, then we can kind of, start that journey. That's been a really cool part of my story too, is, getting those calls, like to Renee's point, go see Gus. So I get a call from Ryan Anderson's mom, Sue.
Oh yeah.
And his AU coach, Jason Barton, and they're like, hey, Ryan's a 10th grader. He has a lot of potential. He needs to come see you. So this 10th grade kid comes in the gym, and that's how my story started with Ryan. And it's tough for a little while adjusting, because at that time it's Matt and Bobby's in there and Kevin Martin and all these guys are in the gym. And Ryan's a 10th grader.
10th grade.
That is.
Yeah.
So before he came to you, I'm imagining that he was just probably already a very good basketball player for a 10th grader.
For sure.
And now he comes into that world. I mean, that was probably just mind-blowing for him, because I'm guessing he probably wasn't the best player in the gym.
Yeah, he wasn't, but what I loved about Ryan is that he had a calm approach to the whole thing. And I think he probably, maybe he knew, but he was just kind of like, this is just part of what I need to do. So there's going to be some good days, some bad days, but this is what's best for me. And in development, that's what you have to do, because the basketball development, one of the biggest things that accelerates is stress. Like, you have to be like, this is tough. Like, to your point, Chris, you're playing your age group. I have a kid now, man. He's he's an 8th grader. He's probably one of the best kids I ever trained, right? So, but he's in there with my guys now. He may get one bucket.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing for him.
It is.
Damn.
Because it's the resistance, right? And he's thinking like, man, I gotta figure this out. It was the same way with Ryan. It was the same way with Festus. A lot of the guys that I got when they were young. But that's why they got better. It's because they were in an environment where they were forced to get better, because you were looking around and you couldn't duck no smoke. There's nowhere to go. There's no exit route, right? It's like, hey, you got to deal with it. So I think that's what makes players grow, as opposed to you're competing with a cone, and you could beat a cone every time. A cone doesn't fight back.
Right.
But when you're battling and you're in the trenches with someone, and that person is literally trying to help you by really kicking your butt.
Yeah.
They're because they got their butt kicked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mike
Yep.
McKinney got somebody to give him resistance, so he does that for me with the young guys now because he's a great player.
Yeah.
He's made a living out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it is just the fact that there does have to be some tough days and some doubt. Sometimes it's a little doubt in you,
Big time.
and you got to just figure it out.
Yeah, I'm thinking like bravo to Anderson's parents too for seeing that too, because you just think about it like the competition level. What high school did he go to? Oakmont?
Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
Is that in El Dorado Hills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's this different, different competition when you can obviously tell when somebody's a good athlete, but when you get them from playing against the players that they're playing against in high school, I mean, I don't know what teams they're competing against, but going to a place like your gym, I mean, that is complete night and day. You're gonna. I'm guessing one of the things that happens too at some of that age is the maturity just speeds up quickly.
Yeah. And it has to, because. But the thing I'll say this: the thing that I do love about the environment that God has helped me create is that the older guys, they're not like a-holes about it.
Yeah.
Because they've been through it. Like they literally like, man, I was that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gabe came in and he was like, but then Gabe, hey, I'm locked in. I'm gonna stick with it. So I think it's that environment creates guys to just grow. And but sometimes to be honest with you guys, some guys come in and it's too overwhelming. And they literally just disappear. It's like, no, that's not. And some I see a year or two later. Maybe it's a year or two later. But I do think that there's a part of it where you get over the hump and then you just flourish. So my son, Eric, I had Eric in there with these guys when he was like 14 or 15. And he was in there some days just getting cracked. But, he's 14 or 15, but he's 6'6", 240. And then, fast forward, he's 6'8", 300, and he's in there, and he was a really, really good player.
Yes.
But he was around guys, John Tofey, Phil Ritchie, these European star guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was with those dudes every day.
That's crazy.
Studeville and all those guys, with those guys every day.
Oh, my goodness.
So yeah, that part of it is what helps grow. I think there is a little bit with this new generation. There is a little bit of avoidance,
Big time.
like
Big time.
like it's like the AAU dad thing, right?
Yeah.
Me and Chris are coaching our kids in AAU, so our kids don't get enough run the first tournament, right? So we're the Folsom, Jaguars. So the next week, me and Chris take our kids and we're the Folsom Niners.
Yeah.
And we're over here, trying to set it up for our kids.
Yeah.
It's a lot too much of that stuff going on.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
AAU, and here's the thing, AAU, you get to play some of the best players in the country if you're on the high level and everything like that, but still it's so watered down, man. It's tough. I remember, my AAU team, we had Matt Barnes, we had Boozer on the squad and everything, and we played the best of the best that's out there. But Matt will tell you, you know how Steph is shooting from the other side of the court? Right. Matt was the first one. And I'm like, man, I'm on the team with him. I'm supposed to be a shooter. I'm a little midget out there. And I'm like, Matt, you're 6'8". Why are you shooting for so far? But that's where it started. You just have the ability to do that. That's not where the growth happened. It's behind the scenes and playing with some real players, not just I can cast the ball from the volleyball line, So big time difference. And I know the AAU got even worse than when I was there. That was a long time ago now,
Yeah.
So
no, that's true, bro.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, to your point about Jack and Sue Anderson, there's this process with the parents where the parents have to say,
yes,
you gotta, and don't do that and stand in the gym and look and yell at them and just let them get developed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, some parents struggle with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But the ones that understand it, they see that there's some growth going within this resistance that's going to help their kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the parents that really get it.
Yeah.
Going back to the Gabe stuff, so he goes to college. Did he do all 4 years or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So 4 years in college. During that time, did you guys stay in good contact with one another?
Yes, 100%. Yep. So because Gabe went to Modesto Christian, then he transferred to St. Mary's. So Gabe lives in Modesto. So every summer we worked.
Yeah.
So when Gabe was home, he was with me and with the guys.
He would come out here, he
was in SAC. He would drive from Modesto sometimes. Yeah. Gabe would drive and drive back, and that's been our history the whole time. And then after college, the G League for 2 years, and we were still same program. And then Miami, and it was the same program.
I can't wrap my mind around it because and I'm sure Gabe's one of many stories, but I can't wrap my mind around it of you go to college to be a hooper, and then college ends, and you don't make it to the league, or you don't get an offer to the league. What's your source of income? How are you paying the bills? You know what I'm saying? Because as you're describing this, and he's driving and he's working, you either have family.
Yeah.
But I'm are there stories where the dudes are they have jobs and they're doing it at the same time?
Yeah, that happens. I mean, you're right. But a lot of times, so if you're talking after college.
After college.
Okay, so after college, that's when, if you're a good enough player, you gather some attention. So usually that's when agents come in, where the agent will take you on, and the agent will invest into your development.
Got it.
So a lot of agents send their players to me in the summer.
Okay.
For the pre-draft and basically March, April, May, June. That's pretty much the stuff I'm doing now. So yeah, that's part of it, where the agent funds that. If you're a good enough player. Now, if you're not, then you're kind of on your own. And I have those stories where some guys are like, man, hey, I got to figure this out. I got to, pay. I have a player now that played at Loyola Marymount, Caleb Stone Carrawell. His dad is actually the assistant coach at Duke. He came up here on his own, played at LMU. He, really good player, averaged 14 points a game. Came up here on his own. He's been here for 2.5 months, but he's worked out for the Kings. He's worked out for Charlotte, and he's worked out for the Clippers. And he has a chance to be a really good player. But then an agent picked him up after he was up here. But that's kind of how it goes. Some guys, their agent, boom, here's a budget. We're going to send you to Vegas to Impact, or we're going to send you to LA. But then there's all these different levels of players. So some players, they don't have that, that option of having someone that will fund their development. So yeah, it's different for everybody.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so you're getting paid from agents.
Yeah, agents sometimes. I consult with agents, but then sometimes players just pay me to train.
Got it.
Yeah. Most agents will pay for their pre-draft stuff for their guys, and so yeah, that's pretty much how it works. And a lot of times, guys are just on their own though. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. And then when they grow, then other options come as they grow and develop. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Has the craziness of NIL and what's going on now, has that changed anything for you? And then I just want to hear you talk about it in general. I just got to hear from the guys about that.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I mean, I would say this. I was more probably skeptical. And I was like, are you serious? Like, what's going on? But then some of my guys started telling me the amounts of money that were getting thrown out there, and I was like there's no, and I was like, wow, this is. So basically, the industry has shifted.
Yeah,
because you literally can make more money on a guy doing his NIL stuff if he's at a certain level because he may not even go that far as a pro.
Exactly.
Yeah, so some of the guys that I'm working with now, when they were in college, they were getting 1.6 million. some guys that were getting 500, 250. So it has literally changed the landscape of basketball, and you're really a professional.
Yes.
Already. Like I have some guys in college now, and I have to treat them like they're professionals because literally they're making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're making a lot of money. I'm not talking 30 grand. They're making good money at these schools. And yeah, it was kind of eye-opening for me the last couple of years.
There's really good chances here that a lot of these NIL deals that are happening, I don't want to sound negative, but to your point, they might see the most amount of money through these NIL deals than they might ever see again.
Chris, you're 100% right. And the other thing that I have picked up on that it does, though, is, I'm a lot older than you guys, but we grew up on this whole hungry thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that motivated us were because we were hungry. You know what I mean? Some of us I had two brothers. We had one bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like we had.
Yeah.
Everybody had their own room.
Yeah.
So, but the NIL thing, I think is altering that, because what's the motivation for a kid if it isn't sincere and deep down within their soul? If I'm already getting $1 million,
Yeah.
and I have to go practice, and am I going to go to class? I'm already getting $1 million, and that's the reality of what's going on now.
And $1 million for somebody that's 19, 20 years old, that's hard for me to wrap my mind around what that might look like.
It is wild. I just can't believe it, that it's a real thing. What's the incentive to even stay? Other than if they got to give you more money. There's so much changing around, and my kids are in softball and baseball, and you're seeing it. I got friends that are football coaches. One of them, I won't even say his name, but he's at a big time. Used to be Pac-12 school, and he's going into kids' homes. And he's like, I can't believe that a kid that I'm not even sure is going to start for us ever. And we're talking about money. He was like, I don't know if this is for me anymore. Like,
wow.
Just crazy. And I still can't wrap my brain around it.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, just from my perspective, it's a huge shift.
Yeah.
Because I have guys making $100,000 overseas, and they're really good players.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the life. Like when you mentioned the gentleman that I forget his name was playing, you said Czech Republic?
Yeah, Mark Ogden.
Okay, Mark Ogden. Man, I've traveled a lot, Gus, and I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. I think I'd rather be living in Italy than Czech Republic. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like if
I don't know if it was Czech, it was somewhere like that.
Okay, it wasn't Italy though.
It wasn't Italy.
It wasn't Italy.
It definitely wasn't Italy.
I've been to Italy, and Italy is amazing. And I'm just thinking, like, we had Rob. You know Rob Archie?
Of
course, yeah.
Rob used to work out with me.
Okay,
Exactly.
there you go.
Exactly.
Man, hearing some of Rob's stories were wild, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, I know that he played overseas a little bit. I think that would just be such a huge, beautiful part of your young adult life.
Yeah.
Obviously the dream is to make it to the league. But if you can somehow be making a couple $100,000 a year playing basketball, living in Italy or Greece, that wouldn't be that rough. That wouldn't be that bad of a life, in my opinion.
But Chris, what he's even alluding to here is somebody who's put the time, effort, and is still making some decent money over there. What would you think if young kid who hasn't done nothing is making 3-4 times what you're making and ain't been through the grind? What would you feel?
Yeah,
that's a crazy thought.
It's definitely something that I think a lot of players feel like that they missed out on.
Oh, big time.
I mean, because both of my boys played big time college football, USC and Oregon, and just thinking back on the recruiting process, even with both of my boys, like. I mean, there's like a number in my head. I'm like, we could have got.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So I think what ultimately happened. You might not say it, but I can just kind of say it from listening to you. But the balance, there wasn't enough balance, I guess. Meaning everyone knows the corruption that has been involved with NCAA for many, 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 many years. Like that, you have to be blind to not see that.
Yep.
One of the documentaries that I watched that I loved that highlighted that was that Fab Four documentary. Jalen Rose is like talking about like I barely had enough money to buy a meal, and they're selling my jerseys. Like I get all of that, but to see where we're at now, it just seems a little too extreme.
It definitely makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because my experience with my boys getting recruited is, to your point, Chris, everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Like there were certain places, man, that we knew what it was.
Yeah.
Now we just, as a family, we didn't approach things in that way. And I think when people know that, they approach you a little differently as far as the way that they deal with you in recruiting. So that was our story.
Wait, so I guess I'm so naive to this. This is so wild. But like there was recruiting going on where they were like slipping money or like doing things that they shouldn't have done just to kind of get the deal.
Yeah, I think that was that's always been a part of college sports.
Yep. Yeah,
it has.
I mean, now it's just you can pay legally.
Damn.
But in the past, I mean, there was and everyone involved in it really kind of knew that those are the kind of things that are going on. But just for me and my family and trying to protect my boys, I mean, we were just really cautious about things. I mean, when our mom was at SC, people want to buy your gloves when you walk off the field, and they want to buy your practice jersey, and it just was so much, going on. And you look at the history of what's happened in a lot of these programs. I mean, it wasn't isolated. It was that's just kind of how it was. And one of the things that always bothered me too, even at Sac State, even if you're on scholarship as an athlete, so you're struggling, you're on scholarship, but you can't work, and there's all this other stuff that you can't do.
100%.
There's all this other stuff that you can't do, and it doesn't make any sense. To your point, Chris, somebody was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't getting shared.
No.
So that's why everything had to change. And they could document that. They could document every dollar that Marcus Mariota in the Duck store, there was a number 8 jersey. They know exactly how many times that jersey sold.
Oh, yeah.
And Marcus didn't get nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the difference.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's switch gears.
Sure.
You have 4 beautiful kids.
Yep.
You and Krista, man, like I don't like everything you guys touch turns to gold. I mean, I've met all your kids. I'm trying to find out like what was the recipe in the house? Like what were you guys doing? Because I mean, all 4 have just turned out to be incredible.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, like just for the people listening, let's go down the list. Name the kids and what schools they went to and kind of where they're at now.
Well, Aaron's our oldest. Aaron, San Francisco State grad, Laguna High School. Went to, after San Francisco State, got into the tech business. I think he started at Yelp, I want to say.
How old's Aaron?
Aaron has to be, man, you're pressuring me.
I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, Aaron is Aaron's
is he
34, 35.
Okay,
maybe?
so still like young
30,
mid-30s.
maybe 35, 36. But then Aaron got into the tech space, so he's in that whole tech world now. He's doing really well. Beautiful wife and little girl Emery. Yes. And Aaron was great kid, just wasn't into the sports thing. Yeah. And then Armand's the second boy, and Armand was I call him the first day of Pop Warner, I called Krista and I'm like, oh my, this is crazy. Like, I don't know what this is, but this dude is out here. I'm literally like the first day I ever took him to play football. It was just a natural, kind of like a Hebrew God bless type of thing. I'm like, this dude's different. Like, pow.
On defense.
On everything. Whatever they were doing, some kids was getting knocked out, like when he was out there.
Dang.
And then it just, so then Armand ended up being a two-way star at Pleasant Grove and highly recruited, had offers from everywhere, went to SC. and then ended up going to CFL. I spent a couple of years with the Patriots, and now, he's married to Greer, Yu, Drake's sister, and they have 6 beautiful kids. So
6.
yeah, and I love it.
That's great.
Hanging out with them last night. Yeah.
They were living in Hawaii for like a short.
Hawaii, Puerto Rico, they bounce around a lot. Yeah, but to your point, man, both of my older sons are amazing. And then my daughter Alexis, Lexi graduated from Cal and got her master's from Long Beach State, and she's a school counselor over in Natomas. Married to Brian. Brian is a videographer.
Yep.
He worked with LeBron for a while, and they have a little boy, Archie, and then Eric and Mindy. Mindy's a doctor, and Eric's with Jacksonville now. And they have 3 kids now, 2 girls and a boy. So, and Eric did, Pleasant Grove, basketball star, Oregon, went to the national championship, played in a different bowl game probably every year, first round pick for the Niners, and he's in year 11 now. Sounds crazy.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
And Eric won the Man of the Year
last
year. And he's been nominated multiple years. So, yeah, Chris, I think God has been good to us, man, and just looking back, in this community where we're shooting, like our old church is right around the corner, and just having them, around the God and the Word, and giving them an example of me and my wife, and stability, and just instilling discipline into them. But I really just think it's just a favor of God, man, just covering us. And we had some challenges in our life, but overall, man, we're blessed.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done.
We're blessed.
You guys have done phenomenal job parenting. I mean, geez, none of this stuff happens by accident. You know what I mean? And I've gotten the honor of getting to hang out with Armand. I was in a small group with Armand, and man, that dude's special, bro. He's just got this light, this energy that he carries, and knows the Bible extremely well, and just a cool dude, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think too, man, for me, the church that we were at, Bethel Church of God in Christ around the corner, just the people there that poured into us, man. We were there almost 19 years, and it just the pastor and sister Hunt and their family, man, just some amazing people that embraced me and Krista. I mean, we were at Sac State, we're living together.
Yeah.
and then you come to your faith, and then you're trying to change, and it was just some people that poured so much into us. And then meeting Letty in college, and then met Bob later, and then just Bob being so supportive, and my family just being so supportive with the kids has just been such a blessing. So it's done. A community does it. I mean, we may have been the heads of it, but everything is about so many other people, man. That helps you make sure that your kids are good.
Go.
I was just say, going back to Eric, because I have some good stories about Eric, but I mean, what did you feel like? Like, what did you and Krista feel like? I don't know why, but like the Walter Payton Award and like the speech.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was one of the most incredible moments that I've got to witness since he made it to the league. What was that moment like for you guys?
I mean, for me, it was overwhelming because typically they would tell him when he didn't win, and we kind of didn't know. And then I was like just at home, and everybody started texting me. I'm like, what's going on?
Whoa.
And then I flipped it on. And I so yeah, for me, it was like, it was overwhelming, man.
Wow.
I mean, because this is your baby boy. Eric's a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, when Eric, focusing on acknowledging his siblings was really a blessing to me. Because, a lot of the stuff that Eric does was started at Midtown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Started doing that stuff at the church, man. And, a lot of our kids' development and their growth is surrounded around our church. I mean, when Eric committed to Oregon, we did it at Midtown.
Yep.
Wow.
So there's just So I think just that whole community thing, has really been a blessing. But yeah, it makes you feel good when your kids are successful and they get the accolades and all of that. But yeah, I agree with what you said, man. All of my kids are amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm just blessed, bro.
I'm getting chills just listening to you talk about it, and that.
You guys trying to make me cry on the
Man,
podcast?
I'm not trying, but man, it pulls at my heartstrings. My kids are going through the recruiting process and everything like that. But you know what? I feel like, when you put a good environment around, it's still a big step of what helps bring that fire out of them. They still have to, on their own, be willing to, wanted to love the process, wanted to go through the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations that happen. I think, from the outside looking in, you have this great community and you're providing this great environment around them. But the fact that they were around the environment of these pros who push each other, I feel like that was like the carrot that allowed each of your kids that still have that dog inside, even though, you're in a place of giving all the time, helping all the time, but you still have to have that in you. And that's a difficult thing to do both.
Yeah, I always say that, man, because the kids that I consult with, a lot of their parents, like, it's like the recruiting process and going through those things, it's the first time they're doing it.
Yeah, big time.
Like, so my kids had the benefit of their dad has done this for 30 years with people. So these coaches coming in talking smooth, I seen that movie. Bro.
Exactly.
Like, ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a huge part of it. And even in my boys' athletic development, the fact that like tonight is the game, the championship, right? It's game 6, right?
6.
Yep.
So the assistant coach for Oklahoma City is a guy named Mike Wilkes. So Mike Wilkes came to Sacramento to train with me in 2001. I met Mike in 2001. There was people will understand this, I hope. There was a huge spiritual connection with me and him, like off the bat, bro.
Yeah.
To where he came out here and then he came back again. And then I said, Mike, why don't you just stay with us?
Yeah.
So the kids were young. So this is 2001. So Mike literally lived with us for like the 10 years he was in the NBA. He would come and train with me, and he would live with us. So he ended up, I remember, so the Kings called, they used to call me, hey man, we need a guy. There's a guy backed out of a workout. I said, hey man, I got Mike Wilkes from Rice. I'll bring him up there. So Mike goes to the Kings workout, turns that workout into a 9-year playing career. And he's been coaching in the NBA for probably another 13 or 14 years. And he's on his way to win a championship tonight. That's the guy that was in my home as an example for Eric and Armand and Aaron and Lexi. And my wife loves telling this story, but we go, when we're running around one day and we go to church, so Mike's still at the house. So we come home, the clothes are folded military style. And Mike doesn't say a word. And we're like, this dude folded all the clothes. Like, what is going on? Is this an alien? But that, and he's family now.
Yeah.
But that's all because of this basketball stuff, that there was even that connection, right?
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for OKC because that's my guy.
Come
That's my guy, man.
bro.
Amazing.
That's my guy.
So is he like in his, when that all was happening, I'm guessing like in his 20s?
Yeah. Mike had just left Rice and came to Sacramento. That's after he graduated, all conference player at Rice. He comes to Sacramento to train with me. His agent sent him out here, and it's like family, man.
And you literally let him stay at your house.
Stay with me, man. That was my guy.
Do you guys still talk?
all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Whenever the Kings come, and that's that's the beauty of my career, man. Is stories like that.
Yeah.
And I could go on and on about guys like that. I remember one time when Mike was, coaching, he came to town and he literally just stayed with me and Krista.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the hotel, because that's literally how close we are. But the thing I love about Mike is that there's a lot as a dad I can say, specifically to my sons. There's a lot that I can say, but there's so much more that Mike can show them.
Thank you.
And he showed them. He showed them how to live honorable and integrous in front of God, and they didn't see him doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and he was right there with us. So I think my boys really, and if they were here to tell you, they would really tell you how important that was for them to see that. And I think it showed Eric and Armand, as far as the sports thing, there was an example right in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a guy that was in the NBA, but he would take them to Del Taco, and he's Mike. Yeah, and it wasn't. So yeah, that's one, one guy, man, that I and that's why he's been so successful in his career, man. He's just an amazing dude. Him and Kim and the boys, and they're just amazing people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they blessed my family. He really did.
Oh, man.
Are you originally from Sacramento?
No, I grew up in Lompoc, California.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
My
no
dad was
way.
my dad was an Air Force guy.
Yeah.
So I grew up on Vandenberg Air Force Base in Lompoc, California, which is right in between Santa Maria and Santa Barbara.
I went for the very first time because
Yeah.
my birthday was last month, and we were in Santa Barbara, and we drove to Lompoc
Yep.
because there was like this winery that we really wanted to visit.
Mm-hmm.
What a small world! And then Chris is from
Chris is from L.A., and me and Chris met at Sac State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, I grew up in Lompoc. My dad was an Air Force guy, played high school basketball in Lompoc, and then junior college basketball in Santa Maria at Allen Hancock. And then I left Allen Hancock to come here. And then I met Krista my senior year, the first day of school. I saw Krista coming out of the exercise room. And I say she stalked me, but you guys know what it is.
So growing up,
That's so
so
good.
growing up,
Mm-hmm.
did you only play like in high school? Did you play football as well, or did you play basketball?
No, I
only?
was one of those guys. You guys heard the bull in the ring story where you got to lay down and then you got to get up and look around. I was, they say that makes football players basketball players.
Yep.
That was my story. So I played football until I think 8th grade.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I played football till 8th grade, like Pop Warner stuff. And my dad, rest in peace to my dad, but my dad was always like, man, you should have kept playing, because I was a tall quarterback. But bro, I just did not like getting hit,
Man.
like at any time.
Yeah.
And I just, I turned into a basketball player.
Can you relate to that at all?
Man, one of my best friends. He's my point guard at Sac State, man. I won't even bust him out, but his story about it, man, went to Grand High School. He was, just his story is just so funny when he tells it, man, because it was his freshman year, and he got whopped in the middle of one of the first games. He pulled his jersey off on the side and walked up in. His dad's a pastor, and he's up there crying. I'm done with this. He's like, what you doing up here, man? So I'm just saying, I've heard it over and over again. One of the best basketball players I ever played against. Talking about just tears and trying to face his dad after walking off
the field, man.
All bad.
I love football though. My boys played, but
Yeah.
it just was like I was like, nah, I'm gonna do the basketball thing.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite NBA team growing up?
The era I grew up, it was the Lakers. I was a Magic guy, man.
Okay.
So like 1980 when they won, when he was a rookie, was my senior year of high school. So that ages me. But yeah, I just fell in love with basketball probably in like junior high. And funny story, like my name is not Gus. So Gus Williams played for the Warriors. So like that was my guy in 7th grade. So I started calling myself Gus.
It's not even your middle name?
No. It's not my name at all. So Gus Williams played for the Warriors, and I'm calling myself Gus because I like the way Gus plays. So I'm like, I'm Gus. So then like 7th, 8th grade. So then after, I'm like, bro, will y'all stop calling me Gus? Like, it's not my name. Literally nobody stops calling me Gus. So I'm 62 years old and I'm Gus still.
That's incredible.
True story, bro.
Now,
My name is Albert Kelly Armstead.
Man.
That's my government name.
There you go.
So good, man.
So did you now growing up? Did you watch NFL football? Did you like football?
Yeah. Growing up, I grew up in a military environment, and it was a big thing with sports.
Mm-hmm.
So the youth sports program, the Air Force bases was amazing. So I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, but I didn't experience that until we moved to Guam. My dad was stationed in Guam for 2 years. So at Guam, man, we played football. They had so much stuff going on. So that's
How old were you in Guam?
like 10,
Oh, so
9, 10, 11. Yeah. So we were like football, man. It was amazing. I remember my dad, he's a service guy, and they had a full football team for the guys on the base. And we would go to the games like, this is crazy. So yeah, that was my thing, man. Just learning about sports so early, and then being from Texas, everybody in our family were Cowboy fans. So, we were Cowboy fans. But yeah, just I think I was more of a football guy early.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the basketball bug got me around junior high, man, and I was done.
Done. Well, I asked that because I am a diehard 49ers fan. So I'm just being real with you. When Eric signed with the Niners, and not just signed with the Niners, like played for the Niners for quite a while. I wish he would have retired a 49er.
Yeah.
But that was just special, and I think that was another blessing from God.
Yeah.
That you guys, because you guys went to a lot of those home games.
Yeah,
right?
it worked out. Through that whole process, you really don't know until it really happens. Eric got picked 17th, and I mean it was an hour and 40 minutes away from home. And,
crazy.
Yeah, and we were able to experience all those years of him being there, and I think it was a great journey for him. And I'm like you, Chris. I think he probably should still be there, but the business of sports kicks in, and then you gotta do what you gotta do. But Eric, he wanted to stay. I mean, it wasn't like,
of course,
he was not wanting to stay there. I mean, he was a team captain and an integral part of the team, one of the ambassadors of the team and the leaders. And but sports is dirty in that way where just the business side of it kicks in, man. Sometimes the math don't add up.
Yep.
So he had to make a move.
You might already know, but I don't. Can you run me through? You're unsure where he's going to get drafted. Talk about that day of the draft. Where'd you guys? Were you at the draft?
Weren't you at home?
Or you at home? Tell me about that day.
We decided. He decided not to go because we were invited to go.
I'm sure.
But I think Eric's projection was kind of weird because we were hearing, New York, Washington, they were up in like 5, 6, 7, up in that range.
Ooh.
And we were hearing all the way down to 30.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you want to sit underneath that stress.
Right? I know.
And everybody sitting at that little table. So we just decided to chill.
Yeah.
So we actually, the Embassy Suites by the bridge, we rented that out. And my guy, Brian May's not there anymore, but the guys from Channel 10, those were my guys, Sean Cunningham, Brian May, all those guys, we because those were our people, so we told them, hey, you guys can come and post up and just, get this content and enjoy this for our family. And, Pastor Bob was with us. We were, and just, it's kind of, even though you have a good feeling your kid's going to go, it's super stressful.
I guarantee it.
No,
oh, my.
Stressful. So then I think it was, you guys can research this, I think it was the 5th pick, I want to say, was a guy named Eric Flowers.
Oh.
So then the dude says, the Giants select Eric Flowers.
Oh, my gosh.
So we're like, oh, man. So that was kind of weird.
Oh, my goodness.
But then, he got picked, and it was, and as a, especially as a dad, I mean, come on, man, I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
And we had some challenges with Armand's journey, and then for Eric to get, first round pick, man, and
that's massive.
Yeah.
So
pretty
massive.
Pretty,
and the cool thing,
cool,
the cool thing about his following Eric's career too is, he got better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess what I'm saying is like we'll call it the first 5 years that he played with the Niners wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, and then just like progressively became a monster.
Yeah.
And that was just cool. That was just incredible to witness.
Yeah, I think as a guy that's kind of in it, in not the football thing as much, but just looking at the team. I mean, when he came there, it was just because Harbaugh had left, and it was just kind of bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was rebuild.
I think his first year they beat the Rams twice. I want to say. I think they only won 2. You can check that. I think they only won 2 games.
Dang.
I think they beat the Rams twice. But it was it was Cap's last year, and all that stuff was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And it just was like not it was not good. But then when John and Kyle came in, just kind of just changed the whole culture of the whole thing, and did a great job with Fred and Kittles and these 5th and 7th round guys that they got there were like cornerstone guys. So then after your point, Chris, after that, I mean, Eric was there they were good for a long, long time, and 2 could have been the 4 or 5 Super Bowls. I mean, the NFC Championship game, I think they went at least. They lost 2 or 3 and 1.
Yeah.
Well, it was the Jaquaski Tart.
Be careful, that's my guy.
No. I met him. I met him with you when we were doing some fundraising stuff.
Nice,
and Eric was there. I'm just saying, it was a dropped. Gus, I'm a Niners fan, so this was painful for us. But if he would have had that interception, I think we would have been in the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're talking about the LA game?
The LA game.
The LA game.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we should have. I think we should have been. We should have been to 4 Super Bowls in Eric's time.
Yeah. Well, the Philly thing was crazy. Yeah, and then they lost to the Rams.
Yep.
And then they beat Green Bay, and they beat Detroit to go, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Green Bay and Detroit. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah.
It's wild.
Could have been
crazy.
Could have been a whole different outcome.
What a run.
I gotta share this story because it's just I have like so many good Eric stories, but I had some clients that were diehard Oregon Duck fans and Seattle Seahawks fans, and my client just got in a motorcycle accident, has 3 boys, wasn't doing so well financially, and somehow, some way, Eric was kind enough to be like, look, my parents aren't going to be at the game tonight. Usually they're in the suite. Reach out to my agent. He'll work out some sort of discount with you, and we'll get you and your clients and he can bring his kids to the game.
Wow.
So
so good.
I forget the dude's name. It's funny. I think I went to school with him. That was managing or helping Eric. Anyways, so I get in contact with him, and he like kind of tells me like what the discounted price is. I'm like, all good. Like, it was still not cheap.
Right.
But it was heavily discounted for me to have this like once in a lifetime experience, getting to go and like enjoy a game and win the players' suites.
Yeah,
I thought it was super unique that he ends up giving me Eric's cell, and he's like, this is when Eric was hurt, by the way. This is when Eric had, I think, like
broke his wrist or hand or something.
Yeah. So he wasn't playing, and he goes, you'll need to link with Eric like 2 to 3 hours before the game. He'll meet you like at a grocery store parking lot.
Wow.
And he'll give you the passes there, and then you can give Eric the check directly. So I'm like, this is strange. Like, all right. But I'm like, all right. So it's me, my client, his 3 sons in the back. Sure as heck, texting Eric, tells me what parking lot to meet at. Dap him up in the parking lot, give him the check. And he's like, yeah, and after the game, I want to take pictures with you and the kids. Bro, this was like one of the coolest experiences ever. I distinctly remember Eric is it last name? His brother plays for the Chiefs. Is it Eric Ward? Not Eric Ward. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. He played safety for the Niners at the time. It was a beast.
Eric Reed.
Eric Reed.
Yep.
There we go. His son his brother has like 2 rings. We were sharing the suite with Eric's mother, father, the wives were there, and then like after the first quarter, his brother shows up. His brother played for I think either Stanford or Notre Dame. So there was a game the night before that he played in. It was just like wild.
Justin Reed.
Reed. There you go. Yep. And dude, like after the game, I have like pictures of like Eric after the game doing like football drills with a couple of the kids.
Incredible.
I say all that to say, I'm like, Eric never cashed the check.
Wow.
Eric never cashed the check, bro.
Come on.
And I'm just saying, like, I bet there's like crazy like, and I have a feeling it wasn't because like he lost it or something. Like that's just like, there's so many stories. Like even like all the stuff he's done with Leah Tata Floyd. It's just like it's so incredible. This isn't like when you see like the Walter Payton Award. You probably be amazed at knowing like how many stories like that there are. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
no, that's cool, man. That's
crazy.
Cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Really cool.
Unreal. Well, hey, man, you've been blessed, and obviously you get to dive into where the kids and how good they've been doing and everything like that. But you know, as you continue to help people get to the next level and everything like that, I'm always curious of what the next step is. I mean, are you in a situation where you just love what you do and you just want to continue doing it? Is there a bigger picture here? What's next on the horizon for you, man?
I mean, I think I talked to my wife about retirement, and she laughs.
She laughs.
Oh, she laughs. She says she literally tells me, "You've never had a job, bro.
Oh,
what are you retiring from?"
That's hilarious.
Literally. She tells me that you go to the gym for 2 hours. Like, what are you retiring from? So
that's great.
I mean, I think, you know, long as God keeps me healthy, I'm gonna keep trying to impact, you know, kids' lives and help kids be. I think I'm gonna keep helping kids get what God has for them, as far as like lining them through. So, you know, hey, I got a kid that's an 8th grader, so maybe I keep doing it until he's good, you know. But I don't do anything that's physically strenuous. You know what I mean? And I still love what I do. So
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I mean, it's I'm really grateful that I get to do what I do, and I think. I guess if I could have wrote up a script of what I would be doing, I probably would have did this.
That's incredible. That statement alone is the most incredible statement, man.
Yeah.
That's
so I think I'm good, bro.
Impacting lives and loving every minute of it, man. That's incredible.
If it doesn't feel like work, then you probably shouldn't retire.
Yeah, that's true, and it doesn't.
This 8th grader you're talking about, what school does he go to?
His name is William Phillips. He's gonna be a freshman next year. So I forgot the school he was at in. They live more kind of like in Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's 6'7". He's just a highly skilled guy that. I think he's the number 3rd ranked 8th grader in the country right now. And, you know, it's crazy because he's in there training with my guys now. And he's in 8th grade.
Is he holding his own?
Yeah.
As an 8th grader?
Yeah.
That's hard for me to even...
He's in the purifying process.
Of course.
But I haven't had anybody that's been close to as talented as this kid since I've been doing this. It's like,
oh my word.
I'm so intrigued. He said that earlier.
Yeah.
So
he actually plays. We play tomorrow night in my pro-am. He actually plays in the pro-am.
8th grade pro-am.
Talk about the pro-am, because I'm like, this is over my head. So
well, when I got done at Sac State, the Kings that just came to Sacramento.
Okay.
So my senior year at Sac State was the first year that the Kings came in from Kansas City. So the NBA had a program through Coca-Cola that every city, they would sponsor a Pro-Am league. So people that couldn't afford to go to games would be able to see guys, and they would encourage all of these guys to play. So when I got done with Sac State, I played in this Pro-Am league. So Kevin Johnson, Harold Presley, LaSalle Thompson, Eddie Johnson, Reggie Theus, like all played in the Pro-Am. That's how I met a lot of these guys. So, you know, I played for some years, and then I ended up taking over the league and running the league when I kind of stopped playing, and I used it as a tool for all of these guys I was training to evaluate them. Guys would come in town, play in the Pro-Am, and that's been since 1986. So now it's just something that I still continue to do to help.
So when's the next Pro-Am?
Tomorrow night was Friday. It'll be Friday at Fortune High School out in Elk Grove. It's a high school all the way down Bighorn, at the end of Bighorn, and we've been out there for a couple of years. But I've had the Pro-Am through the years, man. I've been in AR.
You've been
I've
everywhere.
been at CRC. I've been at Sac High. I mean, I've been at Sac State.
Yep.
How often are there games?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I take a break because I go to the NBA Summer League because I have clients up there to watch those games, and then we come back and play later. So, yeah, it's really cool, man. A lot of the local guys that have played overseas and are playing, and then it's just a really, like Drake plays. He has a team with some guys from the Kings front office, and it's cool, man. It's a really,
Drake still plays.
Yeah.
I'm always
Drake had 18 last night.
No way.
Man.
How old is he? Like young 30s?
Drake and Armand they graduated together.
Okay.
34 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Armand. So did Armand go to Jesuit?
No, my Armand went to Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
Pleasant Grove. Drake went to Rio.
Okay.
Yeah, Drake went to Rio.
And he played overseas, yeah?
Yeah, Drake played at Cal Poly, and then he played in Australia.
Yeah. That's the red team.
Yeah, Perth.
Okay,
Perth
got it.
Wildcats.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
And he's managing Andre right now, right?
Yep.
Just trying to wrap my mind around. Andre can't sit still because he's now about to be playing at Illinois. Is it Illinois? I think.
Well, that's NIL, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Well, that's not to like on that topic too. I wasn't to say this, but like part of transferring for some players, respectfully, is maybe they're not getting as much playing time. Maybe their experience was whatever their experience was, and they want to transfer to a different university for, I don't know, more exposure, more playing time, better coach. Would you agree on any of that?
I would agree that in the past, but now it's simply more money.
Yeah.
That's that black and white.
Just really that simple.
Dang.
Who are you gonna sell your car to? The guy for $20 grand or the guy that offers you $60 grand?
Yeah. I mean, you used to have to sit out when you transferred.
Well, yeah, you had to sit out when we were
You had to
playing.
sit out when you transferred.
And if you were in a conference, sometimes they would make you sit out 2 years.
2 years. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how, like, nobody did that on purpose. I mean, you were forfeiting a year of playing.
So I think Andre had, there's teams that have bigger budgets in college basketball, college football, college baseball. So I think a lot of those teams, there's a turnover because they have so much money. Like there's just a turnover. So they may roll out 6 guys are gone, and then boom, here comes six more guys that are making X amount of money, and that's just kind of the new normal, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, man.
Now I actually this is fun because we talk sports, but now I actually we get to talk some sports,
Oh yeah.
Pick Gus's brain a little bit.
Sure.
I've heard a lot of back and forth on SGA. I'm huge on SGA, and what's been circulating around the internet as of late. I even heard Gary Payton. I love Gary Payton as just like he's a fun dude, but like sometimes he says things where it kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit. But there's been some Kobe references to SGA, and if you see them side by side on film, I can actually see why there are some references. What's your thoughts on SGA?
I love him.
Okay,
I love him. I think he's my guy Mike. That I told you a story about Wilkes. That's SGA is Mike's guy, as far as the guys that they work out. I've got a chance to meet him. He's a phenomenal guy. I love him because he didn't buy into this whole you can't have a meaty thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, that's my thing, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And he's phenomenal at it.
Yeah.
He's clearly grown. The other thing I love about SGA is his journey. I mean, he's with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Then he gets traded to
Yeah.
OKC. I think it was the Paul George thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
with
sure.
the Paul
Was,
George
yeah.
thing.
100%.
So
They
he's
killed that trade.
So he's grown as a player. So this is not somebody like, with Kobe where you're coming in, your entry level is way
he
up
was
here.
drafted by
Yeah,
Charlotte.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
drafted by
And
Charlotte.
then this is a kid that was at Kentucky as, a good player, but not not the marquee guy. So love dudes like that.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I
But
just-
I don't do the whole Kobe thing with people though, because
that's tough.
that's just tough. I mean, I think Shea is going to have a great career, man. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see. I don't know, man. Like my biggest takeaway watching the NBA Finals, I've been talking about it, is the maturity level of the Thunder, the players, and like it just seemed like Williams the other night. He drops 40, and it's just like everyday business. It looked like.
I think my view. Sam Presti, who's the GM for in OKC, my guy Mike Wilkes won a championship when Sam was in San Antonio. And Sam brings a certain culture, and in my industry, you're trying to help players get places. OKC is one of those places, bro. It's the culture. It's the fact that they had all these picks and everybody was laughing, and then now, look at what they've built, you know. And it's a place where a guy like SGA could have went anywhere, and he stays in OKC, because of the culture, and that's why they're on their way to winning a championship. Is what they've built.
Oh yeah. It's scary. Yeah. It's scary. I'm a Warrior fan, and I'm paying attention to all the stuff that happens in the West. Me and my guys been talking like, man, it's real scary for a team this young to do it and get over the hump, man. There's no way out when you get somebody, a team this young, that knows that they're the it. Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding going forward, and anybody out the West with until they can't afford to keep them all together, which I think they're all locked up for another couple years, right? Like the main ones.
Yeah.
Because they're young.
Just take care of Chet and Williams.
This is a dream for Chet to be on this team playing with these players. I mean,
fits right in. And
Yeah.
then, well, the other thing I like about OKC to the point of culture is Hardenstein and Caruso.
Yeah.
So you go get dudes.
Yes, great point.
Fit exactly.
Yep.
It's kind of like exactly what they probably were missing, and you go get two dudes like that know who they are, they know what they do, and they just do it every night.
Does Caruso even start?
No,
but
but he finishes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am a huge Alex Caruso fan.
Yeah.
I think he could be a starter in the league.
100%.
Yeah. It's been fun watching. Now then the reverse question, like, what do you make of what Tyrese has been doing, and then basically dropping a goose egg? Like, I guess, like, what's a good? How can we define who Tyrese Halliburton is? That's kind of the question.
I love Tyrese. Tyrese was here. We used to take guys down there to play pickup ball. I would take some of my better guys down there. My guy Akachi and Bobby and a lot of guys that are in my network of basketball guys. Everybody loves Tyrese, bro. And what he's able to do with that team. The only thing that's holding him back is that injury is probably something that's limiting his mobility. And he's a killer. He's a killer because this happens multiple times. Not just he's throwing one in every now and then. No. If it's on the line, he's a killer. So I mean, I think that there's probably a lot of Kings fans that are wondering.
Oh yeah.
Like, how did he get out of here?
Oh yeah.
I remember they were real sad when he left. People loved him while he was here and didn't really like that trade from the beginning,
Well, the thing I like, and I'm not that deep into it, but I did have a sense that Tyrese loved being here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. I was talking to Bob about this. I had dinner with Bob last week, and that's what he was saying was like, I think Tyrese was actually like kind of heartbroken. Like he really loved it here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, there's not many organizations in the NBA that are Sacramento, man. It's
Great
just,
player, man.
yeah, it's gotten to a point being a Kings fan where I'm like, I don't even know anymore. It's just rough. It's just rough. Yeah, tonight should be interesting. We had some predictions, and we both before it was second round, we both predicted that it would be Thunder Pacers. I said Thunder in 6. I think.
Yeah, without Tyrese being healthy, I think there's no chance tonight. I believe it's over.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he was moving very well. I know you said he put up a goose egg. That wasn't playing bad to me. He couldn't move like he was supposed to, is what it looked like to me. So
Yeah.
It's tough, man, when you can't move.
man, exactly. It's a fast game out there, and he couldn't move. I wanted it to be a good series, and to be honest, this is as much as I could have asked for, because everything on paper looked like it should be maybe a gentleman's sweep with OKC. They got so much firepower, so I was excited to see Indiana pushing them and be up in this series. So and to be honest, if you're an OKC fan or if you're an OKC player, it's much better to have it go this way, to not have it easy in the finals. It might have kind of undermined people say, oh, you played them having to show something in the finals. I believe is the best route to go. So I'm happy for him, man. I'm scared of him. Like I said, there were problems going forward, but I'm happy for him, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's incredible. I didn't know your tie with your guy there, but this could be a special night for your family because of him winning.
OKC, man.
Who would have thunk it, man?
Yeah.
Incredible.
All good.
Outside of that, all the involvement in Midtown Church, Chris is one of the pastors.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us this about how special it's been just seeing. I mean, I've heard stories about Boss, you know what I mean? Because I've been going to Midtown now for about 10 years now. Time flies, but I know that it started small and then it's just blossomed into what it is now. So what's that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, our story is, we're at this traditional church up here, Church of God in Christ, right here on Broadway, and God started dealing with me about diversity. My church was pretty much all black. I didn't live my life that way. I had clients I would invite to church, and Caucasian clients, whatever, invite to church, and then, just God urged me for my family to leave that church, and then we were kind of in this quandary, didn't know what we were going to do. A friend of mine, Sherwood Carthen, was the chaplain for the Kings, and we had a Bible study with a bunch of guys we used to do in Elk Grove. It started with like 4 guys, ended up being 100 guys doing a Bible study. This is like early, 2003, 4, like that. So right after I left my church, and we were heartbroken, we've been there all these years, me and Sherwood used to get together like every Wednesday, and then Sherwood tells me, hey, man, I'm starting this church with these people from Bayside, and I didn't want to tell you because I wanted you to, I didn't want you, leave your church. So then I was just like, wow. So then we, helped, went over and started supporting Sherwood, planting Bayside of South Sac. Bob is at a church in Orangevale. Mm-hmm. So then I introduced Sherwood to Bob. Then Bob ends up leaving his church at Orangevale, and Sherwood asked him. So then we started Bayside of South Sac.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Then we left that church and started the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then the house became Bayside Midtown. And then the thing happened with Bayside, and then we're Midtown. So, yeah, that's how it all started, bro. But even with Sherwood, we started as, core group meeting, there's like 30 people maybe. And then the church just rose up. And then when we started with the house, I mean, we started with like 35 people. And then it just grew. And Yeah, it's been crazy, man.
Yeah.
I think we're 7,000-8,000 people on our roster at church.
Is that
now.
not just? I still can't get over it, man.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of it, Sherwood. A lot of the stuff that we do at Midtown was Sherwood's vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the community stuff. You know, we and I know Bob would say the same thing. We learned so much from Sherwood, man. Just the community thing. He was a Sacramento guy. He's Sacramento's pastor. Everybody knew Sherwood. Like I'd go to funerals and I would already know I'm gonna see Sherwood.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be doing his funeral. You know, just super impactful, and that kind of carried over to Bob, and then with Ephraim and Susie, and continue to add to the strength of the team. I mean, it just continues to grow.
So when you first met Bob,
Mm-hmm.
in my mind I learned something. I thought you and Bob went to high school together.
No.
So that wasn't it.
No,
So
I went to Sac State with Letty, actually.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Sac State with Letty, and me and Krista met Letty, and then Letty says that Bob came home and he's talking about, oh, this guy Guss, and Letty's like, how do you know Guss? So then I met Bob, and then it was like kind of a weird thing. So yeah, I met Letty first, and then I met Bob through playing ball, or because we were all still playing back then. Yeah, so it was weird. Yeah, we definitely knew Letty first.
But there was some encouragement. Maybe I'm getting this story wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There was some encouragement. Part of the reason that Bob became a pastor had to do with you and Krista, right?
Yeah, well, Bob was kind of, I used to witness to him and, take him to lunch and just kind of share my faith. I think I just did it by example because I'm not a big hit you on the head with a Bible dude. But I think Bob was just kind of in a transition because he was leaving. He was working for his dad, building gas stations.
Yep.
And then he was transitioning to trying to doing some other things. And I think God was just dealing with him. Because I remember he took me down to, it's not Fishes and Loaves, but it's down there. It's one of these places where they help.
Yep.
And Bob was thinking about working there for a little bit. So, like, God was kind of just moving around. And I think it's just, just stuff was getting orchestrated. And we're not smart enough. If we would have knew, we'd have messed it up. So we just kind of, laid back and was like, wow, God is doing something. Let's just enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bob's healing up nicely.
Yeah, he's doing good. He hung out with him yesterday.
Did you?
He's been out to the Pro-Am. He came out to the game on Monday.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Came out to the game on Monday. You just pray for him. He keeps healing up, bro.
Yes, sir.
We got to go to the Pro-Am because I want to.
Yeah, y'all let me know.
For sure.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
So like, do you
Always
like
has,
do you have to sell tickets to get in? Like, how do you?
Yeah,
Is it invite only?
$15 to get in.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And
Pro-Am.
there's all these different teams. I have like Consumnes and Sierra and Yuba College have teams. And then I have a couple of guys that train, Nate Garth and Strive Brothers. These some other guys that work in the same type of space with basketball. They have their own teams, and Drake has a team. So it's really cool, man. It's just a get away and have some fun and watch some good hoops.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that you've met Drake. Maybe if you did meet Drake, it was probably in Bob's backyard.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Drake's got some good stories.
Oh, that's great.
Well, Guss, it's been just incredibly awesome and honor having you on, man.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
What a great story, man. And I love that we get to share it. I keep saying it over and over how much you impact people, and even people that aren't coming to train with you, they know, and they know, and that's where it is. Go see Guss. That's the thing.
We got to get some Go See Guss shirts made, bro.
Yeah. It may work. Appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Absolutely,
so much.
bro.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
we out.